Hello coders, I welcome you all. In this video, we are going to discuss very important topic in C, symbolic constant. When we build projects, we have to use symbolic constant. So it's really important to understand them properly. That's exactly what we are going to cover in this video. The name itself gives you the meaning. We are using a symbol, a name in place of a constant value. That's symbolic constant. Symbol in place of a constant value. Just remember this. Instead of writing the same number again and again in a program, we give it a name and use that name whenever needed. The best part is the compiler automatically replaces the name with the actual value for us. Don't you worry, we will discuss this step by step. Here you can see some examples. Has defined Wi-Fi password, and this is our Wi-Fi password. Has defined minimum underscore attendance, and here is the attendance 75. Has defined speed underscore limit 80. So here you can see in the first example we are using this symbol. So here Wi-Fi underscore password is a symbol and this is a constant value. So here for this particular constant we are using symbol. That's why it is called symbolic constant. Let's take this example. So here mean underscore attendance is a symbol or a name and this is constant. So we are using name in place of constant, symbol in place of constant. So that's why it is called symbolic constant. Let's take another example. Has defined speed underscore limit 80. So here speed underscore limit is a symbol or a name and 80 is a constant. So here we are using symbol in place of constant. That's why it is called symbolic constant. So here you can see instead of writing the same number like 80, 75 and this password again and again in a program, we will give it a name like Wi-Fi underscore password, mean underscore attendance, speed underscore limit, and use that name whenever needed. And as I said, the compiler automatically replaces the name with actual value for us. Name with constant. Compiler will automatically replace the name with the constant, right? So here you can see we are using symbol like this in place of constants. That's why it is called symbolic constants. And as I said earlier multiple times, the compiler automatically replaces the name with the actual value for us. Let's take multiple examples. Think of your house. Every house has some rules that never changes, right? The Wi-Fi password is fixed by the owner. That is not changed frequently, right? Everyone can use it, but nobody can change it. Same in the college, the minimum attendance is fixed at 75%. Students cannot reduce it to 50%, right? On the highway, the speed limit is fixed. Let's say 80 km per hour. You cannot change it while driving. These are permanent values. In the same way, in C programming, symbolic constants are like permanent rules inside your program. Now the question is, how do we actually write a symbolic constant in C programming? Let me show you this. Let's jump to code blocks and we will discuss over there. So now the question is, how do we can actually write a symbolic constant in C programming? For that, we have to use has defined directive. What do you mean by has defined? It's a preprocessor directive. So has defined is preprocessor directive. This means it is handled before the program is compiled. Please remember. So this preprocessor directive handled before the program is compiled. It tells the compiler whenever you see this symbol like has defined, pi is a symbol and here 3.14 is a constant. So this tells the compiler whenever you see pi in the program, replace it with 3.14. So for example, in C program, when you write area is equal to pi into r, the compiler actually sees like this. It will replace it with 3.14, right? So this way we can use symbolic constant. in our C program. Now let's look at a small program using symbolic constant. Let's remove this and this as well. Let's include stdio.h and let's define our first symbolic constant, Wi-Fi password, and this is our Wi-Fi password. Let's define another symbolic constant, mean underscore attendance 275. Again, let's define another symbolic constant, speed underscore limit 80, right? So here we have defined three symbolic constants, Wi-Fi underscore password, mean underscore attendance, and speed underscore limit, right? And here we have these constants. So let's say you can also scan this, but currently I am defining over here. My attendance is 68. That students are telling, right? And car speed, let's say 85. And also let's print our Wi-Fi password is equal to %D. You can see I am using string. So we can define like %s Wi-Fi underscore password. Let's save this. And now I am defining if my attendance less than mean underscore attendance, then let's print something, attendance below %D, so not eligible /n, and let's print mean underscore attendance. Else let's use if again. If car underscore speed greater than speed limit, let's print over speed, your speed equal to %D and limit is equal to %D, car underscore speed and speed limit. Also else printf driving with limit. So here we have this simple program, right? So now you can see at the top we wrote fixed rules, Wi-Fi password, attendance and speed limit, and inside main I just use the names, not the numbers, like this. You can see, and my attendance is 68, but the rule is 75. So the program will say not eligible. Let's execute this. You can see below 75 not eligible, right? And here we have used symbol in place of constants. That's why it is called symbolic constants. Now my speed is 85. Also you can write scanf in place of this to scan attendance and speed from the user. But currently we are defining over here. So my car speed is equal to 85, but the limit is 80. So the program says over speed. Let's execute this cell. You can see over speed, your speed 85, limit is equal to 80. Now imagine tomorrow the attendance rule changes to 80%. Assume that your college has changed this rule from 75 to 80%. So here we don't need to edit 5 places in the code, right? This. Just here we have to change it to 80. That's all. We have to change just one line at the top only, and all done. And the program follows the new rule everywhere when it will find this symbol. That's the real power and advantage of using symbolic constant. Please remember, as defined means symbolic constant works like an automatic search and replace tool for constants, right? So when it will find this, it will replace it with 80. Whenever it will find this symbol, it will replace it with this. When it will find this symbol, it will replace it with this. When it will find this symbol, it will replace it with this. So here we are using symbols in place of constants. That's why it is called symbolic constants. So far it's straightforward. But now let's see why symbolic constants make our programmer life so much easier. Let's discuss this. Let's move on. We are going to discuss advantages of using symbolic constants. Now advantage number 1, easy to modify. As we just discussed, suppose tomorrow the attendance rule changes from 80 to 75. If I had hard-coded 75 everywhere in the program, here, and everywhere, I would need to find and edit each one, right? If I miss one, my program breaks. But with symbolic constants, I just change this line and all done. And the new rule applies everywhere automatically. Same with speed limit as well. Just update one line. This rule applies everywhere automatically. So this is the first advantage of using symbolic constant. Easy to modify. Next advantage is easy to understand. So here you can see, if my attendance less than minimum attendance, it's crystal clear, right? I am comparing attendance with the attendance rule. Now imagine I had written like this, 75 everywhere. The student will ask me, what is this 75? Where did that come from? It will create some confusion because here we are using number. But if we use like this symbolic constant, it's crystal clear. So this symbolic constant convey the proper meaning. Minimum attendance. It is representing minimum attendance. So symbolic constants make programs self-explanatory, that you can see. This is second advantage, right? Third advantage, consistency. Now, if I use row numbers, maybe in one place, I type 75 like this, but in another place, I mistakenly type 74. That small error can completely change my program's logic. But if I use constant like this, mean underscore attendance or speed underscore limit, the value is the same everywhere. There is no risk of inconsistency because we are mentioning value only one time at the top, here only, right? Using symbolic constant, there is no risk of inconsistency. So this is third advantage of using symbolic constant, consistency. Now fourth, safety. Please remember, if we use variable over here, global variable, variable can be changed accidentally, but constants cannot. Here we have defined mean underscore attendance is 75. So here nobody will change like this. Students cannot change it or modify it. Let me show this. You can see here is the error. Compiler will not allow this. We can't modify symbolic constants, right? This keeps my rules safe and unchangeable. This is fourth advantage of using symbolic constant, safety. I hope all of you are clear with this, right? First, easy to modify. Second, easy to understand. Third, consistency. Fourth, safety. And fifth advantage is professional style. Look at the top. All the constants are clearly written in uppercase. It looks professional, right? Any other programmer who opens my code will immediately see, oh, here are the rules. Wi-Fi password, minimum attendance, and speed limit. It's clean, standard, and professional. Symbolic constants make your program more reliable, readable, and maintainable. Okay, these are advantages of using symbolic constant in your program. Now there are some rules we have to follow while using symbolic constants. So now we are going to discuss these rules. So now let's start with rule 1. Always start with has defined. Symbolic constants are defined using these has defined directives like this. Here Wi-Fi underscore password, mean underscore attendance, speed underscore limit are symbols, and these are constants. We are using symbol in place of constants, right? So this is our first rule. Always start with has defined directive like this. Rule 2. No semicolon at the end. This is not allowed like normal variable. Has defined does not use semicolon. Please remember this. So if we write like this, this is wrong. Third rule. Only one constant per line. Suppose has defined A is 10, comma B 20. Here we are using two symbolic constants in one line. This is wrong. Each symbolic constant must be defined separately like this, right? So this is our rule number 3. Only one constant per line like this. Rule number 4. Use uppercase names, which is professional style, that you can see. All the symbols we have used in uppercase. We can use lowercase as well for the symbolic constant by convention, or we can say professionally symbolic constants are written in uppercase to make them stand out than normal variables, right? So how to use symbolic constants in uppercase only. Next, place them above main. So this is global declaration part because it is above the main. So we can define symbolic constant inside the main function as well, but symbolic constants are usually defined at the top of the program, like here on the global declaration part only. So they are available everywhere, even in subprogram section as well, means in user defined function as well. So this is our rule number 5. Place them above the main like this. Rule number 6. They are not variables. Symbolic constants are not variables. We cannot reassign the value to symbolic constants. So please remember, you cannot assign values to symbolic constants later in the program. Suppose I want to change value of this particular symbolic constant here. It is not allowed. Please remember this. We can't change it. That's why symbolic constants is called symbolic constant. We can't change it. We can't reassign it. Rule number 7. Naming rules are like variables with restrictions. We can use letters, digits or underscore to define symbolic constants. Cannot start with digit. This is not valid. Let me execute this cell. You can see error. So symbolic constants cannot start with a digit. It is not allowed. Let me write $sign here. We cannot use special symbols like dollar here. It will generate error, right? So remove this. And symbolic constants are case sensitive. Minimum mean underscore attendance in uppercase, which is different from mean underscore attendance in lowercase. But as you know, professionally, we are defining symbolic constant in uppercase only, right? Here is error. Let's re-execute this. Done. Rule number 8. No data type required. Unlike variables, you don't write integer, float, etc. Symbolic constants are just text replacement. Whenever it will find this text, it will replace it with 75. You can't write integer, float front of this. It is not allowed. This is simply symbolic constant, text replacement. So it will replace this text with this constant. That's all. This is symbolic constant. Hope all of you are clear with this, right? What is symbolic constant? We are using a symbol or a name in place of constant value. So the compiler automatically replaces the name with the actual value for us. Also, we have discussed advantages and rules to define symbolic constant. I'm sure now you can use symbolic constant in your program. Hope you like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel. If you like this video, smash that like button. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care. Bye-bye. See you in the next video.